Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Good morning. Glad that you could join us for today's video. We're going to be doing some static stretching. Now, in terms of stretching, why is stretching important? Stretching allows us to loosen our muscles for athletic performance. Now, when muscles are tight and they haven't been stretched, that means that it's harder to be quick, fast, and explosive. And when we try to do these actions, if we're tight, as in not loose and not stretched out, there's a real risk for injury. And we obviously want to avoid those. So with that being said, we're going to talk about the legs today in terms of static stretching. And before I go there, there's really two kinds of stretching: static and dynamic stretching. Static stretching is stretching that you really do in one place. You just sit in one spot and you do the stretch. Dynamic stretching is stretching in motion. We'll talk about some dynamic stretching later on, but for now we're just going to do static stretching of our legs today. Now, in our legs, we're going to focus on four key muscles. The first is going to be the quad, which is the front of your thigh. The second one is the hamstring, which is the back of the thigh. The third one is going to be our calf muscle, the calf muscle in our lower leg. And then the fourth one is going to be our groin muscle, which connects our leg to our abdomen on our inner thigh. Being able to stretch out these four will help loosen your legs up before you begin dynamic stretching and then ultimately into your athletic performance. There are going to be some stretches that we do today while standing up, and there'll be other stretches that we do on the ground sitting down. So I don't have a camera guy. I'm using my office chair as my little camera, if you will. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide us over. Okay. Alrighty. So the first stretches that we're going to do will be standing. So the first one we're gonna do is the quad muscle, which is the front of the leg. So for this one here, you want to go ahead, grab your ankle, and then just pull back on the quad, pulling back and stretching it out. You will feel it in the front of your leg. If you need to use something to go ahead and keep your balance, that's fine. Another trick, if you want to really challenge yourself and not use something to hold on to, staring at an object that is not moving. So there's a pillow on my couch, and I'm just staring at the pillow on my couch right now while I stretch to help me keep my balance. So that's the quad stretch. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do the hamstring. Now for the hamstring stretch, you can easily touch your toes. You'll feel it in the back of your leg, just by touching your toes. Boom. Another way you can stretch your hamstrings as well, I'll slide you over, using some form of leverage. So here's my couch. I'm just putting my leg on the couch and leaning forward into it, trying to touch my toe again. So that's hamstrings while standing. The groin stretch while standing, about shoulder width, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart in your stance. And you just want to lean to the side. Boom, middle, and leaning to the side. And you'll be able to feel that in the inner thigh region, right there. And that's going to be the inner thigh, the groin. Lastly, for the calf stretch. The calf stretch, this is really the only way that I've found to do an effective calf stretch. I wish you could see this well. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of room. Sorry. But you want to leave your back foot, whatever foot's going to be your back foot. So for me, it's going to be this one to start, flat on the ground. You don't want your heel to come up or down. You just want to leave it flat on the ground. And then using the wall, just lean into it. And you can see the kind of straight line we have going down. And making sure you keep your full foot on the ground. Okay, so those are calves. Now we're gonna do some floor stretching. Now these stretches are just as good as the standing ones. There's no one right or wrong way of going about it. They all do the same thing. So for the quad, you want to start with your legs out in front and then pull one of your legs behind you, such as this, where it's now bent, and I want to lean back we're leveraging our leg and creating a stretch or a pull in our quad muscle. And you can do that for both legs. Now we'll do the left one. And just leaning back. Hamstrings again. Just reaching out, touching your toes. It's the same as doing it standing. The only difference is this one you're sitting down, which is always nice. And then for the groins, the butterfly stretch, where your knees become the wings of the butterfly. If you want to go ahead and bounce a little bit, that's okay. But you really just want to make sure you get a good lean into it. Get a good lean forward, and you'll start to feel the stretch in the inner thigh region. And like I said, with the calf one, wall's best bet. This one here, where you just kind of pull back on your toe and just try to isolate the calf. I've had mixed results with it. I prefer the wall much better. I think it's a much more effective way of stretching a calf. But that's going to be our static stretching for today. Let me get you back on the chair and slide you across. Okay. Very cool. So today we did some static stretching of our lower half, your legs. They used to walk, run, bike, skate. They're now loose and ready to go. These stretches I recommend doing for about a 10-second count. So counting to 10, and then you can switch legs. It's very important that you do use both legs when stretching. You don't want to just stretch one and not the other. So make sure we're doing both legs, making sure about a 10-second count. If you want to go a little bit longer, that's perfectly fine as well. But other than that, that's our video for today. Our next video tomorrow, we're going to be doing some static stretching of our upper body since we hit the legs today. So I hope you are well. I hope you stay well. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for our next video. Have a good one and get up and move.